Good way to kickstart off the day. Lusso has just thrown a wobbler. I put it into reverse while parked on this very mild incline, and as soon as I put the car under a slight bit of load going up this tiny gradient, something made a very disconcerting sound, and then it just cut out. All of the Christmas tree lights came on the dash, and I've been sat on this car park now for the best part of 3 hours because we need some specialist equipment in order to move the car onto the flatbed, because it won't go into neutral because it's a PDK twin clutch gearbox, that won't start. So therefore I can't put it into neutral. So they've brought along this particular piece of equipment to pick it up and stick it on said flatbed. So yeah, it'd be interesting to get the diagnosis of this and figure out what's happening. And all a couple of hours before I have to go to the airport. So with some luck, we had to turn this around and then we'll find out what this problem is. But it sounded expensive. So in order to repatriate said disabled car, it's going on these kind of wheel slings. So 4 of these have been hooked up around the car. Yeah, so these guys are sort of official recovery partner, effectively, of Ferrari. So this was arranged through Ferrari'S. And the guy on the phone told me something interesting, that there is actually a little rod that you insert somewhere in the car in order to put the gearbox into neutral. I wasn't sure if I had that in the car or not. And they just recommended that if you didn't have that, then you wouldn't be able to put it into neutral, and therefore you wouldn't be able to therefore tow it onto the back of a flatbed. So to reduce the risk of that scenario, they thought, you know what, we'll just go full send and bring the sling. Thankfully, despite this being a pre-owned car, it still is within the Ferrari warranty program, and within that particular program, I'm still covered under Ferrari Assist. So I was able to phone those guys, and they were able to come out and start meddling. So I'm going to be really fascinated in the diagnosis of it, what the actual issue is. I've not heard this sound before. This car's got quite fancy torque vectoring and 4-wheel drive split. It decouples the front wheels from all-wheel drive when it reaches certain speeds, and in different driver modes, the 4-wheel drive is acting differently. At the time of launch, this 4-wheel drive system was quite trick. And I have heard of them going on these cars. So the last thing that I want, really, is to have to replace the all-wheel drive system on this car. So we'll get that diagnosis from Ferrari and I'll let you know. All right, and we have liftoff. We have one floating Ferrari imminent. It looks like he's just getting the tension on it. I can actually hear it. So if you just look carefully as well, he's put these thick rubber pads against the gripping blocks, I'm assuming as not to damage the alloys. Now he's just slowly getting tension on it, and we should have up. If it goes, he's away. I can see now why he asked me if there was any other cars parked around it, because if there was a car here and it decided to swing, that would be suboptimal, wouldn't it? Well, I gotta tell you, this is not the way I envisaged my morning going when I rolled out of bed this morning. What a nightmare. I gotta say though, it kind of looks quite cool. This is what is going on. Oh dear me. Can probably inspect underneath the car a bit now. Yeah, look at that fancy flat floor it's got, and a bit of diffusion in the aero going on. Oh god. So straight after this I get on a flight to North Carolina of all places, and no doubt during that trip I shall expect a phone call from the dealership to tell me what's wrong, and at which point I'll find out if it's under warranty for those particular components or not. Look at it now, it just looks like a toy. How funny. That is the most abstract thing. I mean, seemingly that thing is quite precarious. You can see the car like rocking backwards and forwards. It sort of looks like it would rotate quite easily, although it is fixed up there on sort of all 4 points, so it doesn't have a sort of spinning axis without him doing it. But just looking at the subtle movements of the car, it is really balancing up there. Okay. Simple as that. Now I need to get myself a ride out of here. It's funny, just the other day I had a DM from somebody who was asking me that they're in the market for something like a Continental GT or a GTC4 Lusso or an M3 Touring, and how's my experience been with the car? And I was saying to them, honestly, this thing has not skipped a beat. It's been amazing as an all-rounder, it's been great, but in typical Ferrari fashion, it doesn't skip a beat until it does. And when it does it properly. So it hasn't put a single foot wrong since I've had this car, which hasn't been that long, but it's, I don't know, might have done like 3,000 miles in it, say, and it's been perfect every single step of the way. And then parked on a car park, reversing at 2 miles an hour, it threw a major rod. All right, and just like that, we were on. So there it is. Interestingly, Ferrari Assist did ask if I would prefer a closed trailer. I'm wondering if that's because people like sort of discretionary service, but honestly, this thing is all over the internet, and well, frankly, makes for a great story, doesn't it? So if you see this driving down the M6 shortly, take a photo and wave. Seamless transition. Several hours later, I'll give you an update on that Ferrari in a minute. If I had this job, I would be fired on the first day. Because I would set Heathrow's greatest lap time, and that'd be me done. I just realised that I didn't film any of the actual problem that happened with the car. So I didn't get anything of like the dashboard, which lit up like a Christmas tree. Oh. And I know everyone's going to be like, well, so what actually happened? So
take me through it.
Take you through it, right? And since that footage, I've had a phone call from Ferrari, and I'll update you on that in a minute.
I messaged you saying, mate, which I thought was weird, are you going to get the train down to Heathrow or are you going to drive?
I'm
and within 10 seconds, it was probably train because
of this. So I parked in this space at 8 a.m., right? And I got back home at 2 p.m.
On the day you had to come here?
On the day that I had to come here. And to give you some context, I was 7 miles away from my own house.
Sweet.
So parked in this space. When I started the car up first thing in the morning and drove it there, no signs of anything. Completely fine. Drove it there, 7 miles, no issue at all.
Yeah.
Then I park in this space, out of the car for 5 minutes, get back in the car, start it up, no problem at all. No signs, no lights, no sounds. It's on a mild incline, like a mild gradient, and I reverse the car 3, maybe 4 feet. And the sound that I hear is, you know when you've parked your car over a curb that's a little bit too high, and the front splitter, effectively, or bumper sort of scrapes off
Comes back off it,
That's the sound that I thought I was hearing. So it made this sort of, and I was like, oh, that didn't sound like very good.
I don't remember it sounding like going in.
Yeah, I don't remember it sounding like that going in, and I don't remember that curb being that high. Anyway, turns out it wasn't the curb. It was something going very wrong in the car. So as I'm reversing out, it makes this nasty grinding noise. I'm like, odd. Then I reverse 1 or 2 more feet just to check, and sure enough, it's making a nasty noise. So I'm like, oh, okay. Put it into first, and as I snatch first, it just like lurches and goes and just dies. I'm like, right, okay. So with a handful of wishful thinking, I did the classic, if I turn it off and on, it'll be fine.
It'll reset. Definitely reset.
Take out the cartridge, blow in it, stick it back in. So I did that, and sure enough, it wasn't fine. But at this point, and now, I'm sort of like arse half out in the car park, nose half in this space. I'm like, I could really do without blocking up on a bank without blocking this whole car park. So I started it up one more time. Interestingly, that time the car started, loads of lights on, the dash. I snatched first again, and it lurched and died, but it was enough momentum in the lurch for it to just roll back into the space, and it just went
really sad.
Just really sad limp. It just sort of died back in the space. I'm like, you got to be kidding me! Of all the days that I need to come here, so I'm like, okay. Now I didn't buy this car from a Ferrari dealership.
No.
So I'm thinking, okay, has this still got a warranty? I'm not with the RAC or the AA, so how am I going to get this car back?
Neither of us are. I don't know what we're doing. We're on the road all the time.
Well, one of the reasons
Brand
is
deal.
most of the cars that we're in are new enough to come with the service and recovery plan from the brand.
Yeah.
Right? So other than the DBS and the low drag, they're the only two cars which we drive regularly that are old enough to need
that would be
recovery. Bad. So I'm sat there, I'm thinking I should probably get a membership to the AA or something like this. At which point I'm like, Ferrari Assist.
Is it a...
No,
it's not.
It wasn't. I phoned Gary.
I knew you'd phone Gary.
I phoned Gary, so Gary...
he is Ferrari Assist, though.
He is Ferrari Assist. So Gary,
Ferrari
who is now
Edinburgh.
Koenigsegg London, was over 10 years at Ferrari. And so I said, Gary, what do I do if I need to contact Ferrari Assist? Because none of the documents in the car have got the number on. Right. And I'm Googling it, and there's like forums coming up with numbers from 2012.
Yeah.
I'm like, right, classic, check the keyring. No, none of that. So Gary's like, oh, okay, I'll put you in touch with the guys that I used to work with. So he sends me the number. I phone. I ended up phoning Ferrari Greypool Solihull, Birmingham, because it was the closest to where I was broken down. So I phoned them, speak with their service centre, and they're like, do you want to? Are you collecting a car or are you booking a car in? I was like, I'm sort of in the middle of that. I was like, I'm actually broken down, and they're like, oh, and I don't have the number for Ferrari Assist. Is there any way that you could provide me that number? And they were like, well, before we do that, we need to check that your car is still within warranty that covers Ferrari Assist. I'm like, right. So let me just check this for a second. What's your plate? Yes, thankfully, yes. You've still got plenty of time left on your Assist, he says. He says, but
not warranty.
Not warranty. He says, that's not to say that you're not covered yet, but we don't know until we get an inspection on the car. I'm like, right. And I'm thinking to myself,
bank account.
This felt a very fundamental moment. So he's like, okay, well, we don't need to worry about that right now. You've got Assist, so we can get you recovered. I'm like, okay, great. How long will it be? So it turns out that Ferrari Assist contract out to third parties who, to be fair to them, are suitable to collect a car like that.
They are suitable.
Well, they are suitable. The problem is, because they're a bit of a niche application, take, for example, he said, will the car go into neutral? I said, no. He goes, right. He said, do you have the little pole to put the gearbox in to neutral? I'm like,
little pole?
Little pole. I was like, what do you mean? He goes, if the twin clutch box doesn't go into neutral and we need to put it on a trailer, we can't unless you put it into neutral. He says, so we've got these two poles. He didn't tell me. He says, we've got these two poles, we screw it together and we insert it somewhere, and we're able to access a position on the gearbox which puts it
on the outside of the car?
He didn't say. He didn't say. He said, but we need that pole. I was like,
that's good to know.
I don't know if I got this pole. And then he said, okay, well, if you don't have the pole, then we're going to have to find someone who can pick it up.
So the first guy came and he couldn't.
No,
he didn't have the.
No,
didn't have the arm.
I said, well, I'm not sure if I've got this pole. I said, where is it? And I'm searching around in the boot, and it's not there. So he goes, okay, well, there's no point in us sending someone out. We need to get someone with a four-wheel lift to lift this thing up. I'm like, okay. So he says, we'll go and find a contractor that has this, and then we'll get back to you. An hour and a half goes by. Right, I'm just in the car doing emails. And I'm like, I've had no update, no text, what's going on? So I phoned the Ferrari Assist number that phoned me off the back of the service centre calling me. And of course it goes to an automated voicemail where it says, our service centre has tried to get in contact with you.
Please try again later. And it automatically hangs up. I'm like, right, okay.
No.
So then I have to phone back Ferrari, say, I'm sorry, I've spoken to the service centre, but the number doesn't work. Can you put me back in touch with them again? So they put me back in touch with them again, right? And the guy goes, yeah, we're still on your case. Hour and a half's gone by. He says, we haven't managed to find a contractor yet. I'm like, so all of this time where I'm hopeful that there's a truck on its way, they haven't even found one yet.
No.
Right? I'm like, right, okay. I'm going to the airport, apparently.
I'd set off.
How?
No, I'd set off.
You'd left. I'm sat on a car park at this point going, they haven't even sent the truck.
I get to the
There's cars in
office
car park.
and text you saying, how you getting on? At about 1:25, and you send me this picture.
So that's how I'm getting on. And you're like, right.
How was it seeing it?
Great. I was like, I just saw it floating in the air and I was like, that's my title and thumbnail sorted. so
It's not
anyway,
nice, is it, when they pick them up?
So anyway, this random phone number phones me. Ferrari have passed the information on to this third party.
Yeah.
And it was the owner of the recovery company, not the driver.
Yeah.
And he goes, I saw the number plate come in. I'm a subscriber of the channel.
Oh, you're joking.
Don't worry, we've got you covered. I'm like, this is awesome, mate. Thanks very much. And he's like, yeah. He was a subscriber. I was like, this is amazing. So it went from no contact to this guy turning it around in like 38 minutes.
Oh, brilliant.
Which was great. So he turned up. The guy in the truck was awesome. He was really protective of the car. He put these like protective big rubber discs on the wheels because they like clamp the wheels. And then he just picked it up with like a little joystick and went, bang, plunked it on the car. I was like, this is awesome, right?
Oh, sick.
Yeah, crazy. So then I had to go home because I didn't have anything on me. It was an early morning start.
How did you get home?
My dad picked me up.
Then you had to throw some clothes in the bag.
Throw some clothes in the bag, leg it down here, and here we are. So anyway, en route, I get a call. The car's arrived. I'm like, yes. We're going to start it in the morning, so like now. And we'll update you. He says, but can you just run through with me what happened? So I said, well, what happened? And he was like, okay, well, we're going to look into your warranty and we're going to find out to what extent you are covered because it's an extended, right? It's not the original, it's not the one that came with the car, it's an extended one, but it is a Ferrari one. But he said to me that under that, some parts are not covered. And I'm like, are we talking the door handles here or gearboxes? And he was like, well, we'll just do an inspection and then we'll come back to you.
Oh, okay.
So,
that's a different story.
Stay tuned for the update because it sounded really nasty. That was okay. It was fine.
Well,
When I Googled the American Airlines Lounge, an independent review from this like travel blog came up.
was it the best one?
Well, no. It's slagging it off, actually. I was like, oh, really? Maybe it was old because that was okay.
That's fine.
That was all right. Right. We've got, do you know how long this flight is?
Say 9 hours.
Right, great. Oh, Lars Kern, who's our instructor, our pro for Sub 7.
He was in that car.
Won the Daytona 24 in his class.
In what? What car?
In a
Porsche?
No, a Corvette.
No way.
In a Corvette, yeah. How cool is that?
That is cool.
Yeah. It was funny because I was joking with him. I was like, yeah, good luck with the race. Like, obviously, they got a strong factory team. I said to him, good luck with the race. Really look forward to hearing all about it. And of course, seeing your new watch. Because when you win the Daytona 24, you get a Rolex Daytona.
Oh, no
And on the back,
way.
it's engraved winner Daytona 24. So it was like, obviously, I'm like very hopeful for him, but it's one of the big races to win. So it was like half tongue in cheek.
Yeah, you get a one-off Rolex.
Yeah, he only went and won it. And he's got a picture of him with this watch.
Oh, no way.
It's so cool. Yeah, so we've got a Daytona 24 winner as our pro coach for Sub 7.
That's sick.
Yeah, which is very cool.
Classic.
So when you start snoring, I'll put them in your nostrils.
Lips out.
Lip balm, very nice. Hand and body lotion. Oh yeah. Dental kit, toothpaste.
Snacks.
Sleeping mask. What is this here? Yeah, some little
What
tags.
is that?
A really posh sick bag. Headphone wipe.
Show them the headphones.
That's a little bit disconcerting, isn't it? That you have to wipe the headphones because they've been on 10,000 ears. Kind of puts me off a little bit.
They're nice.
They're really nice. They're B&O headphones. So I guess they're a
You got some mega-
sponsor of the airline.
You got some
Who
mega
did I
ones from
fly with
Aston. No,
recently?
Aston gave you a wicked pair.
Right, I was on a flight recently. I'm trying to think where it was to. It was to Mexico for Dave's wedding.
Oh yeah, you've been there as well.
Right, and who was it with? German airline, premium, Condor. And with Condor, dude, the screens were like this big, and the headphones, it was Bluetooth, so you could put your own AirPods in.
Nice.
And that was a really nice touch. That was very cool.
That would
These
say,
you've got 10,000 ears and a wipe
yeah,
to deal with. Like
it's actually better for
even
them
on
to
a-
be Bluetooth.
Bluetooth, or on airlines where they bring them around and the quality's not good.
No,
but
they sit on top of your ear.
and they're wrapped though, and then they're new or they've been steam cleaned or something.
Yeah, I don't
right?
know what happens to them all.
Well, I've seen them collect them all up afterwards,
Yeah.
and they take them away in a big basket.
But then
They
they've got to
must
have
be
the
reconditioned.
they've got to have the wires
Yeah,
pulled back together.
They retie the
There's some
wires.
poor
they'll
buggers
take
doing
the
that.
little foam off, put the new foam on.
In some warehouse on the edge
Some
of
warehouse.
Heathrow.
Exactly. Yeah. Surely headphone reconditioning services. What I like on American flights is that they have the content that we don't have yet. So what I'm hoping for is some films that we don't have, or that's out. What have we got here? Oh, not for the flight. Okay,
Not great touch.
a lot of this is not a great touchscreen. A lot of this is out. Have you seen that?
No.
Me neither. Terrible touchscreen.
I know, I was doing
Old is gold.
TC. Put it in the store.
Right, so it turns out that I let the fuel run low.
Oh, yeah, and 40 miles.
Yeah,
It can go.
It can go. And it sounded I was parked in a bay.
You had a Christmas tree of everything.
Christmas tree with everything. You've had it before.
He knows.
And when I reversed out, it made such a horrendous sound that it sounded like there were stones in the cylinders. Like it was bad.
Yeah.
You know when you park over a low curb and it scrapes as you come up? It
So-
sounded like that.
This was a problem that started with the FF and carried on through the Lussos. Because I had it, I did it in my FF, so that's why.
Really? Okay.
And
So,
then-
so I thought it was going to be the very expensive gearbox.
This is just the
And
recovery
it's
fee.
just the recovery fee and putting some fuel in. I felt such a tit. So,
Yeah, but you can't. The thing is, when that happens, you can't take a chance with it because if it is something big, it's going to be so expensive.
So expensive.
If you mucked around with it,
yeah.
it's on you.
Totally. I know, I'm sat there on that car park going, thank God this is stuck.
Yeah.
You know, I've done 0 to it. I'm thinking, man, this is going to be a transmission. Is that going to be that fancy 4-wheel drive decoupling diff thing? Terrifying. It died in the petrol station.
Yes.
Honestly.
I have
They had
run
to reset it, and to be fair, even if I'd have gone and got fuel, it wouldn't have started again. They had to do a sensor reset.
Full reset.
Yeah. All right. Whew. 9-hour flight actually didn't feel too bad. Check this out. Oh, swag bag. Let me show you what we got. All right, so we are at the JW Marriott, Charlotte, North Carolina. I've been very fortunate over the years to go to a lot of places in America, but I've never been to North Carolina. So very cool to be here. Anyone in the comment section from the area, let me know. Let me know what North Carolina's all about. Let me know what Charlotte's all about. Always open to learning. Speaking of things that are new, look at this. So this is what it's all about. No, not the mug. This here, the Ford Performance Season Launch 2025. Now, what's interesting about this and why I'm putting emphasis on 2025 is that this is only the second year that Ford have hosted the Ford Performance Season Launch, last year being the first year. So no doubt they will have learned something cool from whatever went down last year. But here we are. This is what it's all about. 2025 Ford Performance Season launch. We're about to take you on an exhilarating ride. Stay tuned for the content because we're getting some exclusive looks at some new product, but also we're going to be going in some very fast equipment. And I'm very much looking forward to taking you along for that because over the years, we've not done a great deal with Ford up until lately. And we're going to grab this by both horns and do as best as we do and immerse you in it, which will be cool. So we've got a gift bag. It's like a pre-race pit stop filled with goodies to ignite your creative engines. Cool. It's funny. On the plane, Yorkie was like, do you think we'll get some Ford swag? I was like, even better. I think we're going to get some Ford Performance swag. Sure enough, in the room, Ford cap. First cap of the year. I know that sounds sad, but we're really fortunate to work with all sorts of brands throughout the year. And every now and again, we get given some really cool stuff. And we're always like, when we go to cool brands, like Mantai, for example, we're always like, I wonder if we'll get a cap. That's my first Ford cap. And it's a Ford Performance one. I shall wear it with pride. Yes, hoodie. Awesome. Ford Performance hoodie. This is very cool. And then no doubt I'm going to be required to wear this. And no doubt we shall be put into groups for certain experiences. And it looks like I'm in the yellow group to experience something that I'm going to immerse you in over on the main channel. So if you're on the Uncut channel right now, head over to the main Mr. JWW channel. And on there, you'll be able to subscribe and find the main reason that I'm out here. What you're watching now, for anyone new, is what we call the Uncut channel, which is all of the behind the scenes shenanigans and craziness that goes on, like breaking down in Ferraris before flying halfway around the world. That's what ends up on this channel. It's a bit more informal, vlog style, and we show you things like merch and hotel rooms. So stick along, subscribe to them both. We're at the beginning of the year, and there's some crazy next level stuff happening this year. So if you want in, now's the time to subscribe.